Dust motes danced in the faint moonlight filtering through grimy windows. The room, once filled with life and laughter, now stood as a silent witness to the passage of time. The moonlight, struggling to penetrate the layers of grime, cast eerie shadows on the walls, creating an almost otherworldly atmosphere. Jenna, her brow creased with apprehension, shuffled through the dilapidated living room. Her footsteps echoed in the vast emptiness, each step a reminder of the house's desolation. She could almost hear the whispers of the past, the faint echoes of conversations long forgotten. The walls, once adorned with family photos and memories, now stood bare, their paint peeling and cracked. The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of decay and forgotten memories. It was as if the house itself was mourning its lost glory, its very essence steeped in sorrow. Cobwebs draped the corners, and the wallpaper, once vibrant, now hung in tatters, telling tales of neglect and abandonment. Each creaking floorboard, every rustle of wind through the broken panes, sent shivers down her spine. The house seemed alive, its very structure groaning under the weight of its history. The wind, finding its way through the broken windows, whispered secrets that made Jenna's heart race. She felt as if she was intruding, stepping into a world that was not meant for the living. Jenna clutched her phone tighter, its cold metal a meager comfort in the oppressive darkness. The device, usually a source of connection and reassurance, now felt like a lifeline in a sea of uncertainty. She glanced at the screen, hoping for a signal, a sign that she was not entirely alone in this forsaken place. But the screen remained dark, offering no solace. She shouldn't have come here. This house, with its boarded-up windows and overgrown lawn, was a testament to misfortune. The once manicured garden was now a wild tangle of weeds, and the house's exterior, once pristine, was now marred by neglect. It was as if the very land had conspired to keep people away, to guard its secrets jealously. Yet something drew her here, a promise whispered on the wind. It was an inexplicable pull, a feeling that she was meant to uncover something hidden within these walls. The house, despite its desolation, seemed to call out to her, urging her to delve deeper, to uncover the stories buried within its decaying structure. Jenna took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever lay ahead. She knew that turning back was not an option. The answers she sought were here, waiting to be discovered. A sudden flashback, vivid and unwelcome, flooded Jenna's mind. It was as if the past had reached out with invisible hands, pulling her back into memories she had long tried to bury. A younger Jenna, full of laughter, played hide-and-seek with her sister in this very house. The sun streamed through the windows, casting a warm glow on their innocent faces. Their giggles filled the air, a symphony of childhood joy that seemed to make the walls themselves smile. Their joyous shrieks echoed through the halls, a stark contrast to the eerie silence that now prevailed. The house, once a haven of happiness, now stood as a silent witness to the passage of time and the changes it brought. The memory was abruptly cut short by the image of her sister's terrified face, her hand reaching out from the darkness. It was a moment that had haunted Jenna for years, a fragment of the past that refused to fade. The fear in her sister's eyes was a stark reminder of the fragility of their once perfect world. Shaking off the memory, Jenna pressed on. She had come back to this house for a reason, and she couldn't let the ghosts of the past deter her. Each step she took was a battle against the memories that threatened to overwhelm her. The house felt different now, colder, as if the joy it once held had been leached away, leaving only a chilling emptiness. The rooms that were once filled with laughter and light now seemed to echo with a hollow silence. The air was thick with the weight of unspoken words and unresolved emotions. She could almost feel the presence of her past, a tangible weight pressing down on her. It was as if the house itself was alive, breathing with the memories of those who had once lived within its walls. Jenna could sense the echoes of her childhood, the laughter, the tears, the moments of pure joy and the times of deep sorrow. Each room held a story, a piece of her history that she couldn't escape. As she walked through the house, Jenna's eyes fell on a dusty table covered with old family photos. She picked up a photo of two young girls, their faces beaming with happiness. It was a snapshot of a time when everything seemed perfect, a moment frozen in time. The photo brought back a flood of memories, each one more vivid than the last. Jenna sat down on the floor, holding the photo close to her heart. Tears welled up in her eyes as she remembered the bond she shared with her sister, a bond that had been tested by time and circumstances. The house, with all its memories, was a testament to their shared past, a past that was both beautiful and painful. Wiping away her tears, Jenna stood up, a newfound determination in her eyes. She knew that she couldn't change the past, but she could face it. She could honor the memories, both good and bad, and find a way to move forward. With a deep breath, she walked towards a door, ready to confront whatever lay beyond. As she opened the door, light streamed in, filling the room with a sense of hope and renewal. Jenna felt a weight lift off her shoulders, as if the house itself was giving her permission to let go of the past and embrace the future. She stepped into the light, ready to start a new chapter in her life, carrying the echoes of the past with her, but no longer letting them define her. A low whisper, barely audible, brushed against her ear. Jenna froze, her heart pounding against her ribs. She strained to listen, every nerve ending on high alert. The sound came again, a sibilant murmur that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. The musty air grew colder, sending a fresh wave of goosebumps across her skin. Jenna's breath came in short, shallow gasps. The silence that followed was deafening, amplifying every creak and groan of the aging house. The sudden jarring ring of her phone shattered the silence. Jenna jumped, fumbling for the phone in her pocket. The screen displayed an unknown number. Hesitantly, she answered, her voice a shaky whisper. "Hello?"
"Get out, now."
Before Jenna could utter a word, the line went dead. A wave of dizziness washed over her. Fear, raw and primal, threatened to consume her. Compelled by a force she couldn't explain, Jenna found herself drawn towards the basement door. It hung precariously from its hinges, a testament to years of neglect. The air around it felt different, colder and heavier, as if a physical presence emanated from the abyss below. Taking a deep breath, Jenna pushed the door open. The steps groaned in protest, their wooden bones creaking under the weight of her terror. The darkness below seemed to reach out, enveloping her like a shroud. The whispers returned, stronger now, urging her forward. At the bottom of the stairs, a single flickering light bulb cast long, grotesque shadows. In the center of the room, bound and gagged, sat a woman. Her eyes, wide with terror, met Jenna's. She was alive. Before Jenna could react, a cold hand clamped over her mouth, stifling her scream. A tall, shadowy figure materialized behind her, its form indistinct in the gloom. The figure's grip tightened, the stench of decay filling her nostrils. Jenna thrashed against its grasp, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. With a surge of adrenaline, Jenna broke free from the figure's grasp. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat echoing the urgency of her escape. The shadowy figure loomed behind her, its presence a constant reminder of the danger she was in. She could feel the cold sweat trickling down her back, mingling with the fear that gripped her. She scrambled back, her eyes darting around the room for an escape. The dim light barely illuminated the space, casting eerie shadows that seemed to dance on the walls. Every corner of the room felt like a potential trap, every shadow a possible threat. Jenna's breath came in short, panicked gasps as she tried to calm her racing mind and focus on finding a way out. The basement window, a beacon of hope in the suffocating darkness, caught her eye. It was small, barely large enough for her to fit through, but it was her only chance. The faint light from outside seemed to promise safety, a stark contrast to the oppressive gloom that surrounded her. Jenna knew she had to act quickly. The figure would not be far behind. Without hesitation, Jenna launched herself towards it. Her legs propelled her forward with a strength she didn't know she possessed. The sound of her footsteps echoed in the confined space, a constant reminder of the urgency of her situation. She could almost feel the figure's breath on her neck, pushing her to move faster. Heaving with exertion, Jenna squeezed through the narrow opening, shards of glass biting into her skin. The pain was sharp and immediate, but she couldn't afford to slow down. Each movement was a struggle, her body contorting to fit through the small space. The glass cut into her hands and arms, leaving a trail of blood in her wake, but she pushed through, driven by the need to escape. She tumbled onto the cold earth outside, the taste of freedom bittersweet on her tongue. The ground was hard and unforgiving, but it was a welcome change from the suffocating confines of the basement. Jenna lay there for a moment, catching her breath, the night air filling her lungs. The stars above seemed to twinkle with a newfound brightness, a silent celebration of her escape. Scrambling to her feet, she didn't dare look back, choosing instead to flee into the enveloping darkness of the woods. The trees closed in around her, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The forest was a maze of shadows and sounds, but Jenna pressed on, her determination unwavering. She knew that the figure would not give up easily, but she was ready to fight for her freedom, no matter the cost. Each step took her further from the nightmare she had just escaped, and closer to the unknown future that awaited her. Jenna ran until her lungs burned and her legs screamed for mercy. Collapsing beneath the shelter of a towering oak, she finally allowed herself a moment to breathe. The woods, though dark and unfamiliar, offered a sanctuary from the horrors she had just witnessed. The shrill ring of her phone pierced the quiet. Her blood ran cold. It was the same unknown number.
You can't hide forever.
The line went dead. Jenna stared at the phone, her face a mask of terror. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more chilling tales.